We all know that eating fruits and vegetables is part of a healthy diet. Well, what if I told you that not all fruits and vegetables are good for you? Some produce can actually damage our health and the environment. When produce is grown with the use of chemical pesticides, it can be very dangerous. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, a pesticide is any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any pests. Choosing to eat organic food is safer because by law, organic products must be made without the use of toxic and synthetic pesticides. What does it mean if food is organic? It means that organic crops are grown with pesticides that are made from natural materials. Organic crops are grown in soil that has not been treated with synthetic pesticides, and the use of drugs or antibiotics on animals is prohibited. I'd like to make the claim that eating organic produce has a significantly positive impact on us. Today I'm going to prove my claim by discussing 3 points with you. The first point is organic produce is healthier for our bodies. My second point is organic produce is safer for the environment. And my third point is organic produce is beneficial for our farms. My first point is organic produce is healthier for our bodies. Being exposed to pesticides over time can damage our health. Some of the health problems that are associated with pesticide exposure include ADHD, cancer, Parkinson's disease, mental disorders, reproductive disorders, and autism. According to Robert Hennig, the author of Parkinson's, The Pesticide Link, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides are 3 kinds of pesticides that are possible causes of Parkinson's disease because of their negative effects on our dopamine-producing brain cells, making them more vulnerable to stress. According to Susan M. Snydeker, who is part of the program on breast cancer and environmental risk factors at Cornell University in New York, environmental chemicals, especially those with hormonally active agents, can play a part in breast cancer risk. Organochlorine pesticides get into our food supply, which can then get into breast milk and lead to breast cancer. DDT, an insecticide that was first used during World War II for controlling mosquitoes and lice to fight against malaria and typhus, has been shown to support the growth of estrogen-dependent breast tumors. Also, organic produce is healthier for our bodies because it has higher nutrient levels. According to Shane Heaton, the author of Spreading the Organic Word, the phytonutrients in organic produce will be higher because crops rely more on their own defenses in the absence of chemical pesticides. Studies have shown that organic produce will contain 10 to 50% more phytonutrients than conventional produce. In 2001, a U.S. study found that when organic crops were compared to regular crops, organic crops had higher nutrient levels. In 41 comparisons, the organic crops had 27% more vitamin C, 29% more iron, and 14% more phosphorus. Eating organic produce gives our bodies more vitamins and minerals. Now I'm going to talk about my second point. Organic produce is safer for the environment. Pesticides don't stay where they're applied. Pesticides can drift from the plants and be carried through our air, oceans, rivers, groundwater, and soil. Pesticide residues are widely found in U.S. streams. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, more than 80% of urban streams and more than 50% of agricultural streams had concentrations of at least one pesticide that exceeded a water quality benchmark for aquatic life. This causes serious issues because pesticides are poisons and they contaminate ecosystems, which then contaminates wildlife. The people that eat the poisoned wildlife are then affected. It's a domino effect. If one thing is poisoned by pesticides, the rest become poisoned. That brings us to my last point. Organic produce is beneficial for farms. Organic farming methods help prevent crop loss to pests without the use of chemical pesticides. Growing food organically keeps the soil natural and safe. Organic produce also protects animals. The animals on the farm benefit from organic crops because they do not digest harmful pesticides. Also, buying organic produce keeps organic farmers in business. Farmers are hard workers and their families face health risks by living on land with pesticide exposure. By switching to organic growing methods, farmers can protect their families from health risks as well as their crops, animals, and the people that purchase their food. Organic farming is on the rise. According to Organic Farming Research Foundation, in the U.S. in 2006 there were 10,000 certified organic farmers compared to the 2,500 to 3,000 tracked in 1994. Buying organic helps the local farms and helps the environment, which helps our health. In conclusion, eating organic produce has a significantly positive effect on us. It may be more expensive to purchase organic food, but in the long run it is the smarter way to go. Choosing to eat organic produce can help reduce the amount of pesticides in your body and help create a better environment for other people, the planet, and future generations. Thank you.
Right. I like the opening, but it goes on a little while, and it sounds a couple of times like you're making your claim, but you're actually still just setting up what the claim is. When you finally get to the proposition, you do signpost it, but you want to be a little careful about that. Make sure that the secondary issues don't precede the main proposition. Once you do get to that main proposition, then all of the structural stuff falls into place, and I think you're okay. All the signposting is good. On the supporting material, I think you could use a little bit more development on a couple of points. There's some general information about the risks of pesticides, but we don't have any quantifiable data about the impact that it has. The strongest argument that you had when it comes to numbers was the amount of nutrients available in the organic versus the non-organic foods, and I thought that that would be even more useful if you could show, for instance, that people are suffering from inadequacies on the amount of vitamins that they have. So, for instance, if there's a 10% difference in the vitamin levels in one kind of fruit or vegetable that's organic, that matters, especially if people are getting an insufficient amount of that vitamin. But if we're already getting more than the recommended daily allowance of those vitamins, I'm not sure it makes a big difference. And so that's a way that that argument could have developed a little bit more. I think some of the links on the harms are problematic. The opening sentence on that first point, you have like a half dozen to 8 different potential risks. There's no particular evidence on those claims, and then when there is particular evidence, there's one on Parkinson's and one on breast cancer. And the one on Parkinson's seemed to me to be pretty speculative. The one on breast cancer I thought sounded a little bit more applicable, but neither of them is quantifiable. You did a pretty good job citing your evidence, although there were a few bits and pieces of information that are general citations. For instance, a U.S. study found, and it would be better to quote the source that published that study, or at least tell us which one of the authors that you're quoting says that this U.S. study found. The DDT information is kind of interesting because since DDT's been banned in the United States for probably 40 years, I'm wondering what kinds of inferences you're drawing from that particular data. So that's a little bit problematic, and maybe there are other things that fit in the same category. I think you're doing a little too much reading in the argument. You want to talk to the audience a little bit more. All right, thank you.